This is game theory in use. Israel-Iran conflict and game theory. For more than 4 decades since the Iranian Revolution in 1979, there has been an uninterrupted conflict between Iran and the United States and Israel on a number of issues. Relations between the countries have become even more difficult since 2003, when Iran began developing its nuclear program. Since then, some even US officials have begun to consider the possibility or necessity of a military strike on Iranian facilities in order to end its nuclear program. In fact, no such drastic action was taken until 3 days ago, June 13, 2025. Before that night, instead, in a milder response, the US imposed several rounds of sanctions on Iran, but those actions have not forced the Iranian to end the program. Let us look at the conflict in the light of game theory. First, let's define the players' preferences with respect to their primary and secondary goals. Assume that Iran's main objective is to become a nuclear power, and Israel's main objective is the inverse. Theory game matrix therefore becomes we already known game matrix like this from the prisoner's dilemma, which is also at the basis here. Players do not trust each other. The first number in each cell denotes Iran's preferences for that outcome, and the second number denotes that of Israel. Supposing that an Israeli attack cannot destroy all Iranian facilities, Iran mostly prefers outcomes 3 and outcome 4 as compared to outcomes 1 and 2. The decision stop prevents Iran to attain its most preferred objective. Thus, for Iran, we have outcome 3 and outcome 4, of course, is better than outcome 1 and outcome 2. Suppose also that Iran prefers outcome 4 to outcome 3 and outcome 2 to outcome 1, as it prefers no Israeli attack, but it is Iranians' secondary objective. On the other hand, Israel mostly prefers outcome 3 and outcome 4 as compared to Iranian outcomes 1 and outcome 2, as Iran's stop decision leads to the realization of Israel's main objective. Iran does not become a nuclear power. Thus, for Israel, we have outcome 3 and outcome 4. They are better than outcome 1 and outcome 2. Suppose also that Israel prefers outcome 2 to outcome 1 and outcome 4 to outcome 3, as it prefers to avoid a costly military attack, but it is the secondary objective of Israel. We realize that Israel obtains better outcomes by choosing do not attack, regardless Iran's choices. Israel obtains 4 because Israel obtains 4 instead of 3 against Iran's decision stop, and 2 instead of 1 against Iran's decision of continue by choosing do not attack. Similarly, Iran obtains better outcomes by choosing continue, regardless Israeli choices. Iran obtains 3 instead of 1 against Israeli decision attack, and 4 instead of 2 against Israeli decision of do not attack. Therefore, the equilibrium is continue for Iran and do not attack for Israel. Thus, we explain the status quo between Iran and Israel. So what has changed? Probably at least one circumstance or a combination of two. First, the assumption that a military attack on Iran cannot destroy all Iranian facilities involved in the nuclear program has become outdated. After all, at least Israeli intelligence has been preparing for an attack for several years. Second, and this follows from the public choice theory, it is possible that the Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu gave the signal to attack because of his weakening position in domestic politics and the risk of losing power. Experts from, for example, the Pulaski Foundation said, for Netanyahu, waging war is the basic survival strategy of his government and himself politically. What do you think about that? Please comment. It was Game Theory in News. Thank you.